WASP Distance Education. My name is Greg Weaver, and this is ENG4E, Grade 12 Workplace English. Let's welcome everyone listening across the North State at Home Your Learning Center or on Bell Expressview to call and join our class and call 1-800-465-7144 or 737-4017 or 2983 in the Sioux Lookout, Lac Seul, or Dryden areas. I'd like to welcome everyone back to class today. This is our second last week of class together. We have this week and then next week, and then that is the end of our term. There is one more week for administration and trying to finish up final exams as well. Other than that, that's it. So we are quickly running out of time. We have 8 classes left together, and we have 7 lessons to cover. So we're going to start going things a little bit faster. If you have any questions, let me know. But we're going to start going things a little bit faster now. Everything will still be in the archives. I'm always available for questions or extra help through phone, Facebook, email. I will be traveling to Satchko Lake on Wednesday afternoon, coming back Thursday afternoon. So I will be unavailable. Class will most likely be pre-recorded. I still have to confirm that. And I'll let you know that in tomorrow's class. So with that, we're going to start looking today at lesson 14. This is going to do what's called a story extension. We're going to take what you watched in the movie and apply it in a bit different way. So we're starting off looking at the first part of lesson 14. And this is the instruction. So this is the final task that you're going to do with the movie alone. Is a story extension. You're going to create a storyboard for one new scene that you would add anywhere in the movie. So we're going to start off with what is a storyboard. So a storyboard is a graphic organizer containing 2 main parts: images and descriptions of a scene. There are a series of photos, drawings, or clip art that outline the events in a particular scene. A storyboard should convey some of the following information: what characters are in the frame and how are they moving? What characters are saying to each other, if anything? And where is the camera in the scene? Is it really close or is it far away? And is the camera moving? So with that in mind, think about how do I make a storyboard? So most commonly, storyboards are drawn in pen or pencil. If you don't like to draw, you can also take photos, cut out pictures of magazines, or use a computer to make your storyboards. Just keep in mind that your drawings don't have to be fancy. You want to spend just a few minutes drawing each frame. Use basic shapes, stick figures, and simple backgrounds. On the next page, there's a sample storyboard that covers the entire first Twilight movie. As an example, you're going to do it just on one scene, but it's an example of the entire movie. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to throw it up on the screen so you can see it, and then I'm going to read the descriptions that are printed in your unit. So the image looks like this. I'll zoom in a bit so it's easier to see. There we go. So we see they're numbered 1 to 12. So number 1 is that up there in the very top left. And its caption, its little slogan that goes along with it, is Bella moves in with her father in Forks, attends Forks High School, and is welcomed by many students. So top part, you see Bella and her dad driving. You see the high school here, and then her meeting different students. Beside it, number 2, is in the canteen, she notices the Cullens. And a very handsome Edward catches her eye. So these are all the Cullens, and that's Edward in the blue shirt on the right-hand side there. The third panel says she sits next to Edward in biology, and he gives her a look that could kill. They just can't stand to be around her. Number 4 says after missing a whole week of school, Edward returns to school and acts friendly towards Bella. She notices many different things about him. His behavior towards her and his topaz eyes, or his yellow eyes. That day, Edward accomplishes the impossible and saves Bella from getting squashed by Tyler's van. The fifth one, next row down, says after further investigation, mainly after a quick lesson from Jacob Black on werewolves and cold ones, or vampires, Bella realizes that Edward was in fact a vampire. She then confronts him in the meadow and tells him what she thinks. And next one, number 6, said the lion fell in love with the lamb. So it's them falling in love and just kind of getting to know each other. Number 7 is when Bella meets the rest of the family, meets the rest of the Cullens. Number 8 is known as Vampire Baseball, where they play baseball together, just a little pickup game, but in their own style. Number 9 is the Nomads Arrive. The game is interrupted after James smells Bella and attacks her. Number 10 is the Cullens think about planning to keep Bella safe. However, James manages to trick Bella into meeting him by saying he has her mother. Number 11 says Edward fights James, destroying him. However, James still manages to bite Bella, initiating her transformation into a vampire. Edward sucks the venom out, controlling his frenzy and his thirst for Bella's blood. That's all that's happening in that number 11 there, which seems pretty busy, but that's what's going on. And number 12 is the prom scene. It's the end of the movie when she goes to prom. So that's one example of the entire first movie as a storyboard. You're only doing one scene. But it gives you a bit of an idea. Now, these drawings are a lot better, a lot more high quality than I would expect you to have in your own assignment. So that's one example. We'll zoom back out now. And so another example of a storyboard from Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn, so the one after the one that we just watched, can be found at the following link. And the storyboard shows a scene from Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn, Part 1. It shows accomplishing the werewolves. So it starts off, you see the arrows show the movement to either side with Seth and Jacob, and they get circling. And they circle and circle and circle. And they have Quill. The label of characters is that Quill and Jacob. And then there's a little caption. The first words actually said in this whole scene appear under that box there. That's where I say, calm down, Jake. We stick together. And you still see the people moving say, don't kick off the alpha. And you see this little black box here. As they zoom in, they're going to focus in just on that part that's inside that black box. That's what we're going to focus in on. And Jacob says, I won't follow you. It's Jacob is the white one there. And they keep talking, circling, and Seth comes in and says, me neither, it's wrong. And Sam, I told you to do as you're told. And you see how the camera zooms in on very specific parts of it. So almost the entire face in the shot. And see, the two wolves start to crouch down. And then Jacob fights it off. And they pull it together. And they keep moving. There's no point in fighting it. And Jacob starts out and then zooms on his face. I'll stand between you and them. You choose our enemies over your family. And then it keeps going, keeps standing up. And the tribe comes first. We have to take them down. I'm the grandson of a chief. You are not. And then he got back up to his feet. See all the movement there? The arrows show the way that he's moving and standing up. I wasn't born to follow you or anyone else. And then he stands up. Seth stands up. And then they run off. That's another example of this. So, with all that leads into our key questions. Only one key question for this assignment, for this lesson. I expect we'll probably spend some of today's class working on it before we move on. So, it says, this key question, you'll be creating a new scene for Twilight Saga Eclipse. You need to choose what scene will go in the movie, we'll explain what's happening, and create a story for that action. You've already done most of this work if you completed the supported opinion in the last lesson. Or you completed that question 4 asked you what are 3 things you would change in the movie. 3 things you disliked. You've already done most of the work for this. Just taking it and putting it in a different way. And using the information to produce something different. So, the first thing you have to do is decide where you're going to put your scene. Briefly write out where it's taking place in the movie. For example, you could choose after the fight with the newborns, when Bella's learns the werewolves, when Bella's sleeping in the mountain before the battle, etc. Where's it going to go? Just give me a quick couple sentences. Let me know exactly where your storyboard gets placed. Choose to decide what is going to occur in the scene. Use the following graphic organizer to focus your ideas. And it's right here. So, when will the scene take place? Describe the action that's occurring before and after the scene. So, number 1 is actually written in that first bullet point there. Number 2 says what characters are involved, what's happening in the scene, and how does it tie in with the rest of the movie. Then we're going to create the dialogue for the scene. Write down the lines that each character is going to say and who they're going to say it to. Hand this in when you've completed the question. So you're going to get 10 marks for this graphic organizer and 10 marks for creating the dialogue. Then 40 marks for writing it out. So you're going to create your storyboard. The minimum length is 6 panels or 6 cells. However, there's no maximum. Yours can be as elaborate or as simple as you want. Write the dialogue that occurs in the cell below it. Copy this template into your notes and then complete it. And then submit it. Your organizer for going to and your dialogue for a total of 60 marks. This is what it looks like. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a bit of a break, give you a chance to get started on this. When we come back, normally we would work through this together over about a day and a half. We don't have that much time left to do that, so I'm going to show you the example that I completed with the class last term, in term 2A, or 1B. I'll show you that example and show you the storyboard, the organizer, and the dialogue. Go over all that, how it got developed. And then we'll probably get started with lesson 15 today. But we'll give you a chance to at least get started with this, and then we will come back and go over the example from last term. I'll talk to you in a bit. To get started looking at these questions and this outline, what we're going to do now, I'm going to show you the example I had from last class. So normally it would take about a day and a half to work through this. However, we just don't have that time right now. So instead, we're going to look at the example we had from last year and use that as our example. And we'll look at that for the rest of this class. And then we will start with lesson 15 tomorrow. So first one we're looking at, let me go back to the original one here. We're going to have our graphic organizer first. So we filled it in. So when in the movie is this taking place? Describe the actions occurring. It can be done in sentence form. So it says this scene will occur on the mountain the night before the big fight at the end of the movie. Edward, Jacob, and Bella have gone up the mountain to hide Bella from Riley and Victoria. The remainder of the scene will occur after, when Bella asks Jacob to kiss her before the fight. Well, who are the characters? Well, it's Bella, Edward, Jacob. What's happening? Well, Edward and Jacob are going to watching over Bella as she's sleeping in the tent. They talk about the future, and then get into a fight over who has the right to date and marry her. Bella wakes up at the sound of the fight and jumps in between the two of them. She tells Jacob that she's going to marry Edward, and nothing he can do will change that. And then part D is how the time rest of the movie. Well, it shows the conflict between Edward and Jacob that had been simmering throughout the last two movies. They finally get into a physical altercation over Bella and force her to choose once and for all who she's going to be with. This, combined with this discussion that happened after, led Jacob's recklessness actions in the fight against Newlands, where he's almost killed and he's crushed by one of them. So that's the first part there, the little introduction part. After that, you want to create the dialogue of the scene. And so dialogue's right here. Now, one thing I have to do here, because it'll make sense once I get the that part, is I'm just going to number these. And you'll see why they're numbered in a bit. So I'm going to number this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So you see how I color-coded all those? Everything where Jacob is red, everything in Edward is green, and Bella's one line I put in blue. The lines are, Jacob's first one is, you know that you're going to have to kill her, don't you? To turn her into one of you, you'll have to kill her. And Ember said it's her choice what she does. I can't control her emotions or her heart. She wants to be turned. She doesn't want to grow any older. But you won't stop her, will you? You wanted this all along, and you can't stand the thought of her being with me. I couldn't stop her if I wanted to, whatever would say. She has made her choice, and you have to respect it. Jacob was respect it. You're telling me that you had no impact or influence on her decision? I don't believe it. Edward, I don't care what you believe. She's made her choice, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Or something I can do to stop it. There's something I can do to make me feel better about it, though. And then they would still fight, and then Bella's going, stop this. Stop fighting over me, Jake. Jacob, I've made my choice. I'm going to be with Edward. And there's nothing you can do that will stop me. Jacob will say, well, I don't have to stand here and like it. And then he'll run off. That's our little script. That's what we're planning on. That's what we're going to be creating our storyboard for. Our storyboard looks like this. So, see, it's set this way. And we have, so we have a tent here in the background with Bella in it. So everything's color coded here. So everything for Bella is red. Edward's green. And Jacob's blue. So first one, without any lines being said, they're both staying. There's little black dots, them staring at the tent that has Bella in it. They turn and look at each other. And they say that for number one corresponds to the number one in the script that we had here. You know you're going to kill her, don't you? Which one of you have to kill her? And then they go back. And then as Edward looks at the tent and says his line, Jacob is looking at him. They exchange back and forth lines again as they stare at each other. So he'll say, you won't start, will you? Want us all along. I couldn't ever wanted to. She's made her choice. You have to respect it. Then they're going to zoom in right on his face. Which is, but you won't stop her, will you? And Edward, I couldn't stop her. I wanted to. And there's something I can do to make it feel better, is what they'd say. They would start fighting. And as they fight, you would see Bella would hear it and would come up out of the tent and would run out here and would jump in the middle. And she'd say, stop fighting me, I've made my choice. And Jacob will see about that, and he runs off then. So as you can see, I'm not expecting amazing drawings. You look at the extent of my artistic talent right here. The reason why I teach English and not art. However, with that said, as long as you can get the point across with that, it's fine. You notice this graphic organizer is a little bit different. The one that's printed in your unit. The one that's in your unit looks like this with lines underneath. When I did the example last term, I realized I could not fit all of the words underneath it, so that's why I did the numbers. If that works out a bit better for you, feel free to do the same thing, but make sure you number your script and then put them on your storyboard afterwards. I need to know exactly what I'm looking at and referring to when I look it over and I mark it. So you have to hand in this completed storyboard for 10 marks, your completed script for 10 marks, and your completed storyboard for 40 marks. Now, when I marked it, I don't normally mark this very hard. I will not be evaluating any of your artistic abilities. All I will be looking for is to see, do you get your point across and does it make sense? And also look at, does what the words you're saying, does the action correspond with what you're saying? I won't look at how it's drawn. I will look at, does it make sense? Does it tie together? Do the ideas in your graphic organizer link together with the ideas that you wrote about in your script and on your storyboard? So that is key question. Sorry, so that is key question. Let's get the right number for you. 44. And our last key question in this relates just to the movie itself. Now, lesson 15, which we're going to start looking at tomorrow, is a compare and contrast essay comparing the movie to the novel that you read in Unit 2, which is The Night Wanderer. If you have yet to finish either reading the novel or haven't seen the movie, please try and get that done tonight. That way, when we go through the compare and contrast tomorrow, you can keep up and you can participate and you can get it done. And you should know what we're referring to. I expect that this compare and contrast will probably take us all of tomorrow's class and probably a bit of Wednesday's class as well. And then we'll start with Unit 4. There is 5 lessons in Unit 4. However, it will not take us that long to do. We'll have that all finished up by the end of next week, by next Thursday. And that will be it. If you are in the radio course, you do have to the 19th to complete it. If you're in the IL course, it is the 12th. If you are planning to graduate this year, you need to complete everything as quick as you can. There is no extensions for graduating students because the grad is the 24th, and we have our deadline to get all our grad numbers in is next Friday. If you're in the radio course, we can try and stretch that a bit to be able to give it a temporary mark until we get your exam done. But if you are not planning graduating, you're just taking courses because you need it, we can arrange for an extension for a week or two if you are not planning on graduating. Other than that, that's where we'll end for tonight. We will pick up with lesson 15 tomorrow, and I will talk to you then. Until then, have a good night, miigwech, and bye for now.